She delivered the news to millions of Americans every single night, calm, composed, and unshakable. But behind that polished presence was a woman quietly battling cancer, emergency surgery, anxiety, and a career that was slowly consuming her life. What Norah O'Donnell never told you on camera is the story that will truly change how you see her. But before we start, I want to ask you to kindly subscribe to this channel to help us reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. It means the world to this community, and it only takes 1 second. Now, let's get into the story. Let's start with the moment that stopped Norah O'Donnell cold. It was shortly after Thanksgiving when she received an urgent email from her doctor asking her to get in touch immediately regarding her medical test results. According to the provided source material, Norah initially tried to stay calm. She even spoke to her parents about it, and together they assumed it was probably basal cell carcinoma, a common and relatively treatable form of skin cancer that several members of her family had experienced before. But when she finally picked up the phone and spoke to her doctor, the word she heard was not what any of them expected. Melanoma. That single word hit Norah O'Donnell like nothing she had ever faced in her career. And this was a woman who had reported from war zones, covered presidential campaigns, and interviewed some of the most powerful leaders in the world. She had asked the hard questions her entire professional life. But this time, the hard truth was about her own life. According to the source material provided, the first thing Norah did after hearing the diagnosis was cry. She later admitted in interviews that it was one of the most frightening moments she had ever experienced. For the very first time, she said, she was forced to sit with the reality of her own mortality. Not as a news story, not as someone else's headline, but as her own. And the fear was not just personal. The time, Norah O'Donnell and her husband, restaurateur Jeff Tracy, were raising 3 young children, twins Grace and Henry, and their younger daughter Riley. The thought that her health could change everything for that family made the diagnosis even more terrifying. Doctors moved quickly. Thankfully, the melanoma had been caught early before it spread deeper into the skin. Surgery was still necessary, however, and a significant section of skin had to be removed from the upper part of her back. The procedure left a long scar, but according to the source, it also very likely saved her life. After the surgery, Norah entered a long period of careful monitoring. Because melanoma can return, her doctors recommended frequent checkups, multiple skin examinations every few months, and regular biopsies whenever anything suspicious appeared. That routine became a permanent part of her life. But here is what makes Norah O'Donnell's response to all of this so remarkable. Instead of keeping it private, she chose to talk about it openly on national television. She shared her story publicly and used her platform to deliver a message that was simple but powerful. Early detection saves lives. She encouraged viewers to schedule regular skin checks, to wear sunscreen, and to pay close attention to any changes in their skin. For a journalist who had spent her entire career reporting other people's stories, this was a profound shift. Suddenly, the story was hers, and she was willing to tell it. To truly understand how significant these struggles were, you have to first understand who Norah O'Donnell is and how hard she worked to get where she did. According to the source material, Norah was born in Washington, D.C. into a family deeply connected to public service. Her father, Francis Lawrence O'Donnell, was both a medical doctor and a United States Army officer. Her mother, Noreen Bernadette O'Kane, came from strong Irish roots, with family connections tracing back to Derry, Belfast, and County Donegal. 3 of her grandparents had been immigrants themselves, and according to the source, one of them had even lived in the United States without legal documentation for more than a decade before building a stable life there. When Norah was still very young, her family relocated to San Antonio, Texas. But her upbringing did not stay in one place for long. At just 10 years old, her father's military assignment took the entire family overseas to South Korea. They lived for 2 years at Yongsan Garrison in Seoul. According to the source material, it was during this time, while still an elementary school student, that Norah had what was technically her first experience in broadcasting. She recorded videotaped English lessons for the Korean Educational Development Institute. A small project, perhaps, but it was the very beginning of something that would eventually become her life's work. After returning to Texas, she attended Douglas MacArthur High School in San Antonio before earning a place at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. There she studied philosophy, a subject built around ethics, truth, and deep critical thinking, earning her Bachelor of Arts degree. She later returned to Georgetown and completed a Master of Arts in Liberal Studies. Her professional career started not on television but in print journalism. According to the source, she worked as a staff writer for the congressional newspaper Roll Call, covering Capitol Hill with precision and consistency. That foundation launched her into national television, where she spent more than a decade across multiple NBC platforms, serving as a White House correspondent for NBC News, chief Washington correspondent for MSNBC, and a regular commentator on The Today Show. She also appeared on NBC Nightly News, Dateline NBC, and MSNBC Live, and even stepped in to host Hardball with Chris Matthews when needed. Those years gave Norah O'Donnell something priceless: credibility across multiple major platforms. Producers trusted her work. Colleagues respected her preparation. Viewers recognized her face during moments of national importance. And eventually, all of that experience led her to one of the biggest roles in American broadcast journalism. Just when it seemed like Norah O'Donnell had faced the worst of what life could throw at her, another health emergency arrived without warning. According to the source material, Norah had been experiencing abdominal pain but continued pushing through her daily routine, including, remarkably, playing 2 full hours of tennis while unknowingly suffering from appendicitis. The symptoms had been building for days, but like many people with relentlessly demanding careers, she kept moving forward and kept ignoring the warning signs. Eventually, the pain became impossible to push through. Doctors determined she needed surgery immediately. Norah O'Donnell was hospitalized and underwent a laparoscopic appendectomy to remove the inflamed appendix before it could rupture. The surgery was successful, and she was able to step away temporarily to recover. Shortly after the procedure, her husband Jeff Tracy shared a photo from the hospital on social media, revealing what had happened. Norah later posted her own message, reflecting on everything the experience had taught her. According to the source, she admitted that the surgery had reminded her just how fragile everyday health really is, and how easy it is to take a pain-free morning completely for granted. Her message to the public was clear: do not ignore what your body is trying to tell you. If something feels wrong, seek help. But even during what should have been a quiet period of recovery, the media world did not slow down. Speculation began circulating that her absence from broadcasts was connected to tensions inside the newsroom rather than to her actual surgery. Some commentators and critics suggested the timing was not coincidental. According to the source material, those close to Norah pushed back firmly, making clear that the surgery had been medically necessary and had nothing to do with professional politics. Still, the rumors kept moving. As one of the most visible figures at CBS News, Norah O'Donnell attracted a level of scrutiny that followed her constantly. Anonymous sources periodically spoke to tabloids and gossip publications describing tension behind the scenes at the network. Some stories claimed her management style created anxiety among colleagues. Others pointed to supposed rivalries between anchors. One of the most widely circulated rumors, according to the source material, involved her relationship with fellow journalist Gayle King. Certain outlets suggested the two anchors were competing for influence within the network and that their professional relationship had grown strained. Both women rejected that story publicly and directly. During a broadcast conversation, Gayle King dismissed the rumors entirely and suggested that the narrative reflected a familiar tendency in media coverage: the habit of portraying successful women as rivals rather than colleagues. Norah O'Donnell agreed with that response and thanked King warmly for her support throughout the years they had worked together. Their exchange appeared to settle the speculation, at least on the surface. But the pattern had already been set. From that point forward, nearly every professional decision Norah made seemed to generate a fresh wave of commentary and analysis. For someone who had built her career asking questions about other people, she had now become a regular subject of headlines herself. What viewers never saw at home was the version of Norah O'Donnell that existed away from the studio lights. According to the source material, the pressure of anchoring a national news broadcast eventually began to trigger anxiety. The nature of the job meant that major stories could break at any hour, requiring emergency editorial meetings, last-minute script changes, unplanned travel, and constant preparation for interviews with powerful political figures. The schedule never truly paused. Norah eventually made a decision that took real courage for someone in her position. She admitted publicly that the stress had pushed her to seek therapy. According to the source, she spoke openly about attending professional counseling as a way of managing anxiety and maintaining perspective while living inside the high-pressure world of national television journalism. For many public figures, admitting to therapy carries risk. It invites judgment, can be misread as weakness. But Norah O'Donnell believed that speaking honestly about it could help normalize conversations about mental health, especially in industries where people are expected to project constant confidence and composure, regardless of what they are carrying inside. The strain occasionally affected her family life as well. According to the source, Norah and Jeff Tracy had built a life together that balanced two demanding careers. Tracy ran several successful restaurants while Norah traveled constantly and worked long hours. She often described how supportive he had been, how on exhausting days he made sure dinner was ready at home, creating small moments of calm after chaotic workdays. The source material also reveals that for years, Norah refused to truly disconnect from work out of fear of missing a major story. She eventually allowed herself 2 full weeks away from email during one holiday season, the first real break she had permitted herself in a very long time. That experience helped her see clearly how completely the line between her career and her personal life had disappeared. No chapter of Norah O'Donnell's later career generated more public debate than her interview with Donald Trump for the program 60 Minutes. According to the source material, the conversation quickly became one of the most widely discussed television interviews of the year. Some viewers believed she handled it professionally, asking a broad range of questions while giving the former president space to respond fully. Others believed the interview needed to be more aggressive. Commentator Megyn Kelly spoke openly about her frustration during an episode of her podcast. According to the source, Kelly argued that O'Donnell had been overly cautious and that the interview lacked the forceful follow-up questions she expected. Kelly went as far as saying the approach felt frustrating to watch. Journalist Joy Reid added similar criticism on social media, arguing that the interview allowed certain claims to pass without enough correction or pushback. Not everyone agreed with that assessment. According to the source material, some media analysts defended Norah's approach, pointing out that she had in fact asked difficult questions and that allowing viewers to hear responses in full is itself a legitimate journalistic method. An interviewer, they argued, does not need to interrupt constantly in order to challenge a guest effectively. Through all of it, Norah O'Donnell remained publicly quiet. She did not respond to personal attacks. She did not engage with the commentary. She simply kept working with the same professional consistency that had defined her for decades. Then came the announcement that surprised many of her longtime viewers. After years of leading the evening news broadcast, Norah O'Donnell announced she would be stepping away from the anchor desk following the presidential election cycle. According to the source material, the decision represented a shift rather than a retirement. She moved into a new role as a senior correspondent for the network, RK, focusing on long-form reporting and major interviews, including projects for 60 Minutes and other CBS programs. The change gave her something she had not truly had in years: greater control over her own schedule. For someone who had spent so long delivering nightly headlines to millions of people, leaving the anchor desk carried real emotional weight. But the choice also reflected something deeper, a recognition that life, priorities, and careers can evolve, especially after the kind of moments that force you to look honestly at what matters most. A frightening cancer diagnosis, emergency surgery, anxiety managed quietly for years, a family that needed more than the margins of a journalist's schedule. All of those experiences had been building toward a decision that was not about giving up, but about choosing differently. Norah O'Donnell spent decades reporting the most important stories in the world, but some of the hardest chapters happened in her own life, far away from the cameras and the studio lights. Her story is a reminder that the people delivering the news are human beings first, facing health scares, family pressures, professional criticism, and personal doubts just like everyone else. What made Norah different was her willingness to talk about it honestly, to use her platform not just to report the world's struggles but to acknowledge her own. That kind of honesty takes real courage, and it is a legacy that goes far beyond any broadcast. If you found this story meaningful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support truly helps us keep telling stories like this one. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think about Norah O'Donnell's journey and her decision to step away from the anchor desk. We read every single comment.